Okay, team, as we move now into the second skill, okay, it's the invitation process. How do we invite someone to look at some information? Well, it all changed for me when I decided I wasn't going to be a salesperson anymore. You know, after my first 12 months, I only had 3 people that got started with me. The first person was my mum. She joined because she loved me. Aren't mums wonderful? The second person who got started was a staff member. She joined because I told her I'd sack her if she didn't. The third person was this sales rep who walked into my office, and I was so desperate to get someone signed up, I paid for his pack. I haven't seen him again since or spoken to him. So to give you an idea, my first 12 months were terrible. We didn't have any training, we didn't know what to do. So professional training works. But remember, we want you to be the professional. So when I learned that I didn't have to be the salesperson, the hunter, which was my background. My background was that you go out there and you attack, you go find people, you try and find their weakness, and you go and try and sell the product that you've got. When I moved out of, as Eric Worre calls it, the hunter mentality into the farmer mentality, it all changed. Where I started to build relationships, where I started to like people. You see, I made this decision that I like people. I made a decision that no matter who they are, that's just them. If they've got a funny personality or a weird thing that they do, then that's just them. I don't need to judge that. I just made a choice that I like them. And it's up to them to prove me wrong. And so what I did is, in that process, was that I found people actually liked me back. So when I'm out there, I was smiling and I was starting to cultivate relationships. I learned that if I gave them information rather than tried to do the sell, then they came on board. They wanted to be a part of what I did. See, I found for me personally, number one, that I needed to be the farmer. See, what does a farmer do? Well, the farmer plows the ground. The farmer plants the seed. The farmer fertilizes. The farmer waters. The farmer weeds out. The farmer then goes and cultivates. Takes some of that seed and prepares for the next crop. That's what the farmer does. I love that analogy from Eric Worre. It's the same for us. That's what we need to do. We need to be the farmer. Understand that this process isn't about going out there and signing everybody up. We're the educator. When you're doing a meeting, the purpose of a meeting, the purpose of speaking to someone is not to sign them up. The purpose of speaking to someone is not to get a client or a business partner. The purpose of speaking to someone or meeting someone is to set the next meeting. That's all it is. The purpose of a meeting is to set the next meeting. The purpose of giving someone some information is to actually help them through the process. When I understood that, it all changed for me. And I've found that every professional thinks the same way. This is a long-term game. It's a long-term strategy. We're in for the long haul. We look for right down to the horizon and understanding that that's where we're heading. The hunter, what they're doing is they're going out there for the kill. They're going out there, they grab onto the throat, and that's it. They need that sale today. Don't be like that. People feel that. People feel like, that when you're all tense and that. Just relax. Enjoy the people. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. And remember, the purpose of giving some information to someone is education, not manipulation. So be the educator. Be the one that educates people on our products, on wellness, on weight loss, on anti-aging, even on business and network marketing. Because when you become the educator, when you become the person who uses tools to build the business, the results change. So there's a few things we're going to talk about in this. This will go a little bit longer, this one. Use tools. Okay, use tools. Everything changed for me when I started to use tools. When I was handing out a piece of information, for me it was a CD. When I first started, actually it was a tape. Yes, a tape, one of those square rectangle things, and it had stuff that went around in a car. Some of you don't know what that is, but it wasn't that long ago. I started by handing out tapes. Then tapes moved to CDs, and now they're MP3s, and that's what we still do. Okay, hand out a tool. Let the tool do the work. We have a saying in the dual networks, and it's this: be the librarian, not the library. You don't need to know everything. Be the librarian. Be the person who can show the people where the information is, that they can continue to their education process, so they can buy rather than you sell. So we have an app, okay, the dual networking app. It used to be called the A-Team app, but it's the dual networking app. where you can download the app, and on that app is audios that you can send to people, videos you can send to people, images you can send to people, documents you can send to people. There's training and motivation, and it's really inexpensive to grab a hold of, so we recommend that. That makes your job easy. But also a physical tool is powerful as well. So if you have CDs you can hand out, or a DVD or a brochure, that works as well, because it's real, it's tangible when they've got something they can hold on to. If you can meet someone for a presentation face to face, it's always better to do that than just do it as a webinar. So I always recommend that if you can, meet up with someone. Do it belly to belly, face to face, over a cup of coffee, so that they can see, smell, touch, taste something. It's very, very important. So the most critical part of this is to be the farmer, not the hunter. You don't need to pitch, instead you just need to educate. That's the first part of this process. So this process goes like this. You want to invite them to attend a webinar. So you might send them a text message or a phone call, say, hey, what are you doing on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock? Can you be in front of your computer? Sure, what's it about? Hey, well, I'm working with a group of people that are showing us how to use technology and online strategies to build a business from home. I've got a spot reserved for you. I thought you might like to join me. And they can do it from home. See how simple that is? Attending a webinar is easy. It could be sending a text message with a link using the app. Hey, if I sent you a link on a weight loss product that just got launched, looks really good. If I send that to you, would you listen to it? You know, it's very important. Remember that it goes like this. If I, would you? If I, would you? That's important. You're wanting to get them to give you a response before you send the information. Because if you send information to someone and they haven't said they're going to look at it, why would they look at it? They're not going to. So remember that. If I, would you? Now you want to do that 3 times. And in those 3 times of confirming that process, you get the percentage chance of them actually doing what they say they're going to do increases. So the first time you go, if I sent you a link to a webinar, would you join me? They would say, yes. Okay, what's the likelihood of them turning up? Probably 50%. So you go, so the next question is, so if I sent you that link now, you'll be able to, be on there at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night? Yeah, sure, I can do that. Okay, likelihood just went up to about 85-90% that they're going to be there. So then you do it one more time. Great, I'll send that to you now. Why don't you click on that and I'll see you on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock on the webinar? Sure. So now it's about a 95% chance that they're going to be there. Again, if I, would you? 3 confirmations is key in making sure that someone's going to look at the information. Don't get trapped. Remember, these are concepts, not techniques. Concepts, not techniques. Find what works for you in that process. If I sent you a link with an audio on it, would you listen to it? Sure, what's it about? Well, it's about weight loss. It's a great product. I've just started to use it because I want to lose some weight as well. And I thought you might like it as well. So if I sent that to you now, would you listen to it? Sure. That's the second one. Great, I'll send it to you now. How about I give you a call this afternoon and we'll have a talk about it. Would that be okay? Yes. 3 confirmations. See what happens? The percentage of chance of them looking at the information, turning up to an event goes through the roof just by you using that strategy. I learned that from Eric Worre. Absolutely fantastic. You know, then what happened? They don't expect them to sign up from that next process, that next step. Remember, this is all about a process. It's all about education. So when you talk to them, you're going to want to watch our follow-up script, which is coming up. Know what the next step's going to be. So if they look at a webinar, when you follow up, the next step, the second step, is for them to look at something else. Because understanding that people won't make a decision after the first exposure, it generally takes 4 to 6 exposures to the information for a person to make a decision. 4 to 6. 4 to 6 exposures, not 1. You know, that's the difference between a professional or a master to an amateur. The master instructor, they know that it's going to take time. They're not going to develop a black belt in a day. They're not going to develop a client in a day. They're going to take time. The professional knows that this is a journey. It's the same thing. Okay, it's a journey. 4 to 6. Sometimes it's up to 14 times. I just recently helped someone get started at the champion level today. after about 14, 15, 16 different pieces of information. That's what happens. That's okay. It's the process, keeping the relationship and keeping the journey alive. So the next part is, well, if they've watched a webinar, it might be a three-way call after the webinar. It might be a sit-down meeting. It might be getting them to come to an event. Events change people. I want to talk about that just for a moment. The more people you can get to an event where they come and they can see other people and they can feel the energy. And it might be an in-home meeting. It might be an in-home training Saturday event. It might be a super regional or a convention. If you can get your prospects there, everything changes. It's events that change people. It's events that take them to another level. Know that. That's prospecting. So within the Dual Networkers, we like to use a simple tool. You get to choose that tool. You know, we can teach you, your upline, your leaders might use Facebook. They'll show you how to use that. It might be Twitter. We'll show you how to use that. It might be LinkedIn. It might be sending text messages and XFM events. Talk to your upline leader about the simple methodology that they use. Personally, I really love the ability to bring a person onto a webinar. It's simple, it's easy, they can do it at home, it's simple, okay? People don't need to get dressed up, they don't need to leave the house, they don't need to get a babysitter for the kids, or any of that sort of stuff. It's easy. So bringing a person onto a webinar, that might be your first step, and it could be just done by a text message. And a text message goes like this, and we've got scripts here for you. John, are you there? I say, sure. Hey, look, can you be in front of your computer on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock? Sure, why? Well, I'm working with a couple of people or a group of people that have learned how to use apps and online strategies to develop a business from home, and I thought you might like to check it out as well. I've only got a couple of spots reserved, and I thought you might like one. Simple, right? Remember, it's about using the funnel that's there to help you build your business. You know, your financial security, your ability to break free, your future is going to be about getting a whole heap of people to do a simple task. See, the more simple that your task is, the more simple that your method of building your business is, then the more people can do it. The more complicated that it is, then the less people are going to be able to do it. Remember what Eric says. He says that it's not what works that matters, it's what duplicates. So using a process of duplication is more powerful than using something that works. Yes, will you find things over time that work that you'll do? Of course you will. But ask yourself this, what do you have that duplicates? That's why we use webinars. It's why we use text messaging. It's why we send links and websites, because all of that duplicates. It's simple. There are other things that work which you'll do as well, but make sure that 95% of what you do is stuff that duplicates. The other stuff is just stuff that you do and you try and you test as you go. But do what duplicates. So there are 3 rules in the invitation process. Number 1, emotionally you detach yourself from the outcome. Do you think that farmer gets emotionally attached if a couple of grains of seed don't actually sprout? Of course he doesn't. He knows that not all of the seed is going to sprout. Does he get emotionally attached if a few weeds come up? Of course he doesn't. Does he get emotionally attached if a bird comes and steals something? Of course he doesn't. He knows that that's part of the process. That's what happens. So become emotionally detached from the outcome. Know that the process is important. So that's why you want to have a big list. You want to be talking to a lot of people. Don't get caught up in the outcome. Get caught up in the process. Emotionally, look, this is an emotional business because we know and you know that your dreams are attached to the outcome. That's okay. Your dreams are attached to the outcome. And sometimes it's difficult to detach our emotions from that. That's why you need to have a lot of people that you're speaking to. That's why you need to be adding people to your list every single day. Learn that process. It's fun. Remember to put a smile on your dial. Okay, next, be yourself. Focus on being you. You don't want to be me. You don't want to be one of our other leaders. You want to be you. You know, there are 4 personality types and then there are abbreviations of those personalities, but there's supporters and analyzers, promoters and drivers. I'm a driver promoter. I'm not really good at the supporting process, but I'm becoming better at that. You might be a supporter. Well, then use that. Use who you are. You don't need to be someone else. Be you. It's a lot more fun when you are. People will enjoy being around you when you be yourself. Rule number 3, bring some passion to what you do. Be enthusiastic. Remember, if you're handing out a CD or giving some information like this and you're all tense and you're frowning and all that sort of stuff, and you've got no enthusiasm, you don't have a smile, you're not enjoying it, do you think others are going to want to even look at it? Of course not. You want to be the one that's enjoying it. You want to be the one that's having fun, that's enthusiastic about what you do, interested about the other person, interested in their future. Remember, that's important. To get your enthusiasm up, to get your energy up, you might find before you make that call, you might want to walk around. Before you send that text message, you might want to be walking rather than sitting. You might want to listen to some music that gets you excited, to get your emotions and your adrenaline pumping. You might want to be go and do some exercise to get your adrenaline going. Whatever it takes, lift your energy, lift yourself, because hey, let's all face it, we all live at a level. We might live here, but there are times when we need to live here. We need our energy to be here. That doesn't mean we need to be over the top. No, it just means we need to be grounded but excited. We need to know that we're moving forward so that people can see, whether they join you or not, that you're still going to do what you said you're going to do. There's nothing like people feeling like they're being left behind. And there's nothing like the confidence that you'll have inside yourself when you make a decision that this is what you do. This isn't plan B, that this is plan A. When you make that choice, everything changes for you. Rule 4, which is have strong posture. Don't be the one that's prepared to quit. Be the one that's actually going to continue to build. People know if you're only half-hearted. People know that if you're not really in. Okay, so have strong posture. When you're speaking to someone, know that you're coming from a place of authority, that this is what you do. Let people hear that in you. Posture is an important part in this business. If people feel like you need them, then that puts them in the place of authority. That puts them in the power seat. When people feel like you don't need them, then that puts you in that power seat. And that's where you want to be in this business. You don't want to be arrogant, you don't want to be rude, and you don't want to put people off, but you want to know inside of yourself that, hey, it doesn't matter if this person joins because I'm all in. I'm building this anyway. Things will work out anyway. Other people are succeeding, and because other people are succeeding, I can succeed. So have the posture to know that you will find the people that you need. You don't need that person. You're just there to educate. Remember, the professional educates. They don't sell. They're not looking to convince or cajole or any of that sort of stuff. They're just looking to educate. So be the educator. Be the one that takes a person by the hand on that journey. Sometimes they'll let go of your hand on that journey and they'll stop. And that's okay. Does that mean you let go of them? No. You've got them in your contact manager. You can come back to them at any time. Remember that. We're moving forward. Don't leave people behind, but take them on the journey with you. It's their choice if they want to stop, but don't be the one that's out there hitting them over the head. You want to be the one that's encouraging them. Before we move on to the next video, there's a couple of extra things here that I want you to do. Remember, be in a hurry. As you're talking to someone, don't be there to have a long chat. The longer that you're there, the longer it's going to take. So be in a hurry. You know, the next thing is compliment the prospect. Always give them a compliment. Always encourage them. Remember, we want to be the one that brings life. Make the invitation. Then if I would you, remember how I said that, get the confirmation and then get off the phone. So it might look something like that. Hey John, great, I'm glad I got a hold of you. Look, I'm in a bit of a rush right now, but I've wanted to talk to you about something. I've only got a minute, and I've always respected your ability to see something good. And I really respect that about you. And I'd like to get your feedback and maybe catch up about something I've seen. If I send you some information to look at on weight loss, if I send you some information to look at on wellness, on social entrepreneur, whatever you choose, would you be able to check it out for me and give me some of your thoughts and let's have a cup of coffee? I say, sure. What's it all about? Well, it's better if you look at the information. I can't explain it. So if I sent that to you now, would you be able to look at it for me? Yep, okay. Well, how about I send that to you now? What about tomorrow, say 10 o'clock for a coffee? Would you be available then for us to catch up? Yes, great. See you then. Get out of there. You might have met the person down the street. Same process. Hey Mary, it's great to see you. Hey look, I've been wanting to catch up with you. I'm in a rush at the moment, but look, I've got this CD for you to listen to. I've got this audio that I wanted to send to you because I've always known you wanted to lose weight. We've been talking about you wanting to lose weight, or I love your opinion on weight loss products because you've been looking into them, or I love how you've always been professional in what you do, and I'd love to get your feedback on something or to discuss something. So if I gave you the CD, would you listen to it? If I sent you a link to listen to, would you listen to it? Sure, what's it about? It's a new weight loss program. It's a new way of making money online. It's a new strategy. You figure out what you want to say. So if I sent that to you, would you listen to it? Yes, great. Let's catch up tomorrow for a coffee and you can give me your thoughts, give me your feedback, or we can discuss. There you go. Remember, they're the things to know. Number 1, have posture. Number 2, be in a hurry. Number 3, compliment the prospect. Number 4, okay, make an invitation. Number 5, if I would you. Follow up, set the appointment. Remember, the purpose of an appointment, the purpose of a meeting is to set the next meeting.